Mike Farrell, Adam Gorney, Godfather Gorney podcast. Let's jump right into it. Let's talk playoff, then we'll talk signing day. It's been a busy week. So playoff. I keep going back and forth. I forget. I talk to so many people that I say different things to different people, so my points are kind of stupid.
Yeah.
The true point I want to make is I don't believe Ohio State belongs because of only 6 wins, not because they're not talented. But the problem I have is the other candidates to jump ahead of them aren't good enough. I don't think Texas A&M is good enough. They got killed by Alabama. They've beaten Florida and maybe one other good team.
Auburn. After the loss to Alabama, after the win over Florida, they beat every SEC team by double digits.
Yeah, but they struggle with Vandy.
Yeah, but it used to be Tennessee. It used to be that losing early, they didn't struggle with Tennessee. They blew them out
after the first half
after a slow start.
First half was gross.
Okay. So I've thought about this long and hard, very long and hard yesterday, Mike. Mm-hmm. I think Texas A&M is getting screwed over twice.
Twice.
Okay. Losing early is supposed to be better. That has always been, for some reason, a theory.
Ohio State, Virginia Tech, great example.
Right. Okay. So Texas A&M lost early to Alabama, which everyone agrees is by far the best team in the country.
Yes, not even close.
Okay, since that time, they beat Florida, the SEC runner-up, and won every game by double digits since that time.
Okay, so
Notre Dame lost late.
Yeah.
They got blown out. They didn't even look like they should have been on the same field. Ohio State played 6 games. They not only fixed it so that they could get in with 5 regular season games. Now the medical subcommittee in the Big Ten, which I would love to see these people, went from 21 days to 17 to get them in the playoffs. So we all know what's going on in the Big Ten. They're going to try to fix it any way they can. I can't blame them for trying. Okay, fine. But Texas A&M lost early to a better team.
Yeah.
Since then has been playing maybe some of the best football in the entire country. It's not 90-0 like a lot of teams. It's Jimbo Fisher football, which is great. They got screwed over twice. Texas A&M should be in, and either Ohio State or Notre Dame should be out.
Okay, so let's break down Texas A&M's schedule. I struggle with Vandy opening, no preseason. I get it. That's fine. I don't care. Win's a win, right?
Oh, I have one more point I forgot.
Oh, go ahead.
To think that 2 ACC teams should be in and only 1 SEC team is ridiculous.
Well, Notre Dame's a temporary ACC team.
If Notre Dame and Florida played, who do you think would win that game?
Florida.
Yeah, so yes, exactly.
Okay, so Vanderbilt win, Alabama blowout.
Yes.
Florida win. They came from behind. It was very good at home. Very good victory. Top 4 team, number 4 in the country at the time. Mississippi State sucks. Arkansas sucks. South Carolina sucks. Ole Miss got postponed twice. LSU sucks. Auburn sucks. Tennessee sucks.
Okay, go through Notre Dame's schedule.
Hold on.
Ohio State struggled against Penn State, who started 0-5.
They sucked.
Did not look good against them. Indiana almost came back to beat them, and they looked awful against Northwestern.
Ready?
Yes.
Duke, win. Duke sucks. South Florida, blowout. South Florida is not good.
No.
Florida State, win. Florida State sucks.
Right.
Louisville sucks. Barely beat them.
Yeah.
Pitt, not bad. Blew them out. Georgia Tech, horrible.
If Pitt and Auburn played, who do you think would win?
I don't know.
Right.
I really don't know.
Yeah, that might be true.
Yeah, Auburn is just not good. I mean, they should have lost to Arkansas. They should have lost to Ole Miss. They should be 4-6 instead of 6-4. So, but anyways, Georgia Tech sucks. Clemson, a top 5 win. So you got Texas A&M with a top 5 win. Clemson with a top 5 win.
Okay, but Texas A&M beat Kyle Trask and a full roster at Florida. Clemson had their backup quarterback on the road and like 4 defenders out.
Yeah, well, we're not looking at excuses. We're looking at wins and losses, right? I mean, everybody's
We're
missing.
like the committee. We look at the whole picture. We sit in a hotel ballroom and we stare at a TV
No,
screen,
they
and then we make a
don't. They
decision.
don't sit in a hotel ballroom and look at the whole picture. They look at screens in their pajamas.
Yes.
One guy was wearing pajamas, I swear to God. And then they compare what did they say? Cincinnati was on at the same time as who? Texas
Oh,
A&M?
Cincinnati, Tulsa was on the same time as Alabama, Florida. They were the
No.
late games.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
And then they said, Cincinnati can't compare with any of these teams. That's how they do it. And again, it's all about money.
Absolutely, it is. Cincinnati could have won that game 500-0, and they wouldn't be in.
Boston College average team win there. North Carolina top 15 team win there. Syracuse sucks, and then they lost to Clemson and got blown out. So they got 2 top 25 wins, as opposed to A&M's 1. I don't know. I mean, yeah, a late loss to Clemson where they didn't look competitive. I get it, but Texas A&M has not been destroying these football teams.
No, but Jimbo Fisher teams never destroy football teams. They just grind the hell out of them.
Yeah, but they need
and
to.
Then grind them down to nothing and then win comfortably.
They need to, though. Like I said, they beat LSU barely, Like,
see, this is the problem with you people.
What's that?
This is the problem with people like you.
No, go ahead.
You think a 51-0 win is more impressive than a 35-10 win, but it's essentially the same thing. Jimbo Fisher could have tacked one on late against Tennessee. He decided to be classy and kick the field goal. I mean, he could have ground them down and blown people out. That's just not how he runs his program. It's very much like Florida State under Bobby Bowden used to do that, and everybody thought they were better than Penn State because Paterno wouldn't do that to teams. And then Penn State got screwed in the national title hunt, just like Texas A&M did. We're still in that mentality. We're still in the mentality as if you blow out teams instead of just grind them down and win, you're better, which is stupid.
You just said a win is not a win.
No, I'm saying Texas A&M has lost early, which is supposed to be better.
Notre Dame
has a better win. Imagine if you're Texas A&M right now.
Yeah.
You're in by far the best conference in college football. There's no question about it. You're the second best team in a division of which the number one team in the country, maybe one of the greatest college football teams of the last 2 decades is in your division. Your only losses to them since then, you've beaten a top 5 team and then double-digit wins over everybody else, and still you can't get in. It would have almost favored Texas A&M to say, we can't play the Alabama game. We have too many guys out. If they didn't play that game and finished not 8-1, but 8-0, they'd be in.
Well, you can make that argument for everybody. I mean,
exactly. So why should Ohio State be in?
Well, Notre Dame could have said, oh, you know what? And they've had one COVID case the entire season, which is amazing.
Right. Big credit.
They could have said, oh, you know what? We just had a rash of COVID. We can't play the ACC game, and we're in.
Well, so my argument against Notre Dame is that Texas A&M has a better is just a better football team.
The argument
lost
has to be
earlier. Notre Dame lost late.
It has to be.
My argument against Ohio State is that no one believes that they should be in except people that cover Ohio State. And then they go, well, they haven't played their best game yet. So how do you possibly measure that? How can you possibly say that?
The argument has to be against Ohio State. Your Notre Dame is all over the place because you're saying, well, Jimbo could have kicked a field goal here. He could have done that there, but then when you talk about Notre Dame beating Clemson, you're like, well, Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing. They were missing some of their defensive players. Like, you can't have it both ways. A win is a win, period. Okay. So a quality win over Clemson and a quality win over North Carolina trumps what Texas A&M has done this season. So your argument should be A&M should be in over Ohio State. And I can get behind that because they've only played 6 games. Now, yes, they've beaten 2 top 25 teams because somehow Penn State was ranked 18th in the country.
Oh my God.
In week 2. And I get it. Listen, I had Penn State as a top 10 preseason team, but after they went 0-1, I would have dropped them out of the top 25. That's just kind of the way it works. They were ahead of teams that were 1-0 and such. So, and they beat Northwestern, not impressively either. They had to take the ball out of Justin Fields' hands. And I listen, I'm not going to question the integrity of Justin Fields or Ryan Day. I am just suspicious about a thumb injury that took the ball out of his hands. Like, it was clear he was not getting the job done. The thumb injury is supposed to have occurred in the fourth quarter. It was clear. Everybody on Twitter was screaming it. Run the
ball. Yeah.
And they took the ball out of his hands like he was Garantano at Tennessee.
I almost feel like Ryan Day had his Urban moment when Urban.
Yeah, the Ezekiel Elliott Michigan State game. Yeah.
It was strange.
Well, here's the difference. Ezekiel Elliott, I still think, finished with 9 carries that entire game.
Yeah.
Ryan Day woke up and said, you know what? I know I'm a passing coach, but Fields sucks today. I'm missing my best receiver. Let's pound the ball, and that worked. So to his credit, Urban Meyer never adjusted, lost that Michigan State game with arguably the most talented Big Ten team in the last 40 years. And lost to Michigan State. But again, I digress.
Yeah.
Half of that team has blocked me on Twitter, by the way. I just found out. Like, not only Haskins, but one of the Boza brothers blocked me. Nick.
They hate you, Mike.
Well, I said he quit on his team.
Well, that's not good.
Block. Be a man. Don't be a wimp.
Yeah.
God, take some criticism. Anyhow, Ohio State should not be in with 6 wins.
No.
Okay, well, now Indiana is a top 10 win because they were 9th at the time and they were a good football program. They technically have 3 top 25 wins, which is more than A&M or Notre Dame. But
technically, yes, on
Penn
paper,
State's a joke, and this is their this is their tough schedule. Nebraska, Penn State, Rutgers, Indiana, Michigan State, Northwestern. And everybody says, well, what do you want them to do? Play Michigan, Illinois, and Maryland? They'd blast those teams. I'm like, no, you're the same team that lost to Iowa when you were like a double-digit favorite.
Purdue.
Team that lost to Purdue when you were probably a 20-point favorite. Anything can happen, and that's the way life is. So I'm with you, but I knew this was going to happen. I mean, I wrote it November 10th. The playoff was set November 10th.
Yeah.
Clemson lost to Notre Dame, and it was over because there was no way Clemson, that team, if Trevor Lawrence was alive, was going to lose twice to Notre Dame. So they would split and both get in, and they did everything they could to get Ohio State in. Of course, they moved heaven and earth, and they're in. And, of course, Alabama's the best team. So Texas A&M got screwed to an extent, but when the committee talks about this, and this is another thing that you can rant on this, right? Because this affects Penn State.
Oh boy.
Ohio State is a conference winner.
Right.
Texas A&M didn't get to their conference title game. They don't deserve to be in the playoff. Go ahead, Gorney.
Not only that, but that year, Penn State beat Ohio State.
Was it 2016, right?
Yeah. And then won the conference championship.
And still got screwed. So what we're learning here is that Nebraska left the Big 12 because they were disgusted at the preferential treatment of Texas.
Right.
To go to a conference which has shown 1,000 more times preferential treatment to Ohio State.
Now,
where do they go next?
Do I believe Ohio State's probably one of the best 4 teams in the country? Yes, but eyeball test is the dumbest thing that you could possibly do. It absolutely makes no sense. They had a rule in the beginning of the season that you needed 6 conference games. Ohio State couldn't get 6 conference games. So they changed the rule. And then they had 20 players or something out against Northwestern. To get into the playoff, their medical subcommittee said they needed 21 days out. Graham Mertz got killed by that rule.
Yep.
Wisconsin has never been the same since that rule. Now they go, oh no, not 21 days. The virus is out of control. Cases are sky high. But no, not 21 days, 17 days, which just puts them under the window to get those players back in.
If they needed it to be 15, it'd be 15.
Yeah. If it had to be 6, they'd say 6.
Well, and don't forget, they postponed the season. They were never going to play in the spring.
Right.
Way before they needed to, because they're so smart. Then when everybody else jumped back in, they jumped back in. But we're going to put the harshest COVID protocols out there with 21 days and
right.
myocardial, testing and all this other crap that, just to make themselves look smart and safe. And then they adjust the rules, as you mentioned, down to 5 games is fine. And then they adjust the rules down to 17 days. And they'll continue to adjust the rules to get Ohio State, not a Big Ten team, but Ohio State. Because if this was Penn State, if this was, Michigan or Michigan State, it wouldn't happen this way.
Yeah. So the other thing is, I had another point that I was going to make, and then you kept talking.
Yes, because my disgust absolutely threw you off.
Oh, this is the other issue that I have. If this continues into next season, if COVID is continuing to be a thing, if the new variant from the UK hits America, which I'm sure it will, why wouldn't teams just cancel games? This sets a precedent that if you have any tough opponent, if you want to just play 6, you just cancel games. Because Ohio State got in. Why would Alabama play a full schedule? Why would Texas A&M? Why would Clemson? Why would anybody play a full schedule if you're guaranteed to get in at 6-0?
Well, and the other part of it too is, and I want to tell you in a second why Brian Kelly is my new favorite college coach.
Okay.
The other part of it too is that's been done, but you can't call them out for doing it because you have to totally apologize because it's a pandemic.
Right.
So Dabo said, Florida State, you quit. And he got a ton of crap for that.
Right.
And they did. They didn't want to play. And then Kirk Herbstreit says Michigan was just going to fold up.
Wave the white flag, yeah.
And he has to come back and apologize naturally because this is a pandemic and the safety of the kids is the most important, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
It's just all crap. It's all political crap. It's crap. We all know that politics got wrapped up in this. And now what they're doing is, if it went to 8, Cincinnati would be 9.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No way.
And that's the thing. You need to have. So some people said, let's go to 6, 5 conference champions, and 1 wild card. Okay, well that eliminates the group of 5 again.
Yeah.
What it needs to be is 8 with the group of 5 getting one of those spots. Their highest ranked team, whether it's 12th or 13th, or in this case Cincinnati's 8th. Gets the spot. I guarantee you'd see Cincinnati. If that were the case right now, well, Cincinnati's 8th right now, but they wouldn't have kept sort of sliding back, because, all right, they're in anyways, so might as well boost up their rankings for ratings. It's a complete joke. Now, Brian Kelly is the greatest man on earth, and I'll tell you why.
Hold on 1 second. Let me make a point. The powers that be, hold on. I have breaking news, Mike.
What?
Rajon Davis is decommitted from LSU.
USC, man.
Yeah, he's going to USC.
All right, we'll talk about that in the recruiting segment. So
hold on. One real quick. Let me just flip it in the database. This is happening as we're talking here. Oh. The powers that be in college football, though, don't want 8. Why would Nick Saban or Dabo Swinney or Brian Kelly, your new favorite coach, why would they want to have to play another game? They already have it teed, especially Ryan Day and Ohio State. Why would they want to have to play another game? It doesn't help them in any way to go to 8. It only helps the fans, and the fans are the people that they least care about.
But here's the problem. Last year, if it went to 8, Alabama would have been in.
Yeah, but I don't think it benefits those teams as much as it hurts them.
I understand what you're saying, but teams that are pretty powerful, big programs like Florida and Oklahoma, and let's be honest, Texas A&M is not a peon program.
Sure,
it's not Cincinnati getting crapped on.
Yeah,
those programs. You look at last year, outside the top 4, Florida, Oklahoma, Alabama. Oregon doesn't count because, I mean, Oregon's fun and all, but they don't have the fan base or anything like that to be in this discussion. And then you go to 2018 and you've got Notre
there's
Dame.
Some political pull there to get those teams in, I guess, to 8. Yeah.
Notre Dame, LSU, Florida, and Georgia. I mean, and Texas was tied with Georgia. So, of course, Texas had 4 losses, but they weren't going to get in. But, Florida and Georgia, LSU are big teams as well. The problem with 8 is that 6 of them will be in the SEC.
Right.
And then 1 will be, or 5 will be from the SEC. 1 will be from the ACC. The Big 12,
Big 10 champ.
Big 12 will still get snubbed if it's not Texas or Oklahoma. Pac-12 will just get snubbed, period. And then the Big 10 champ. And then you got your group of 5 spot, if you even want to do that, which they probably don't even want to do. So anyways, there's no solution. It's all political. It's garbage, but everybody's unhappy. I mean, remember when Auburn was 12-0? 100 years ago?
Yes.
Well, they got screwed.
In 94, Penn
I'm
State
talking
was
when they
by
were
far the
12-0
best
and
team in
didn't
the
win a
country.
national championship under Tommy Tuberville.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got screwed.
Baylor. In
Baylor.
1994, Penn State was undefeated, 12-0 or 10-0 at that time. Screwed.
Baylor, TCU, screwed. Some teams get screwed. So if Texas A&M had a better winning tradition, if they were Texas, this might not have happened. But again, you're going against Notre Dame and Ohio State when you're talking blue blood. So if you got big programs going against Ohio State and Notre Dame, you better be pretty big to flip them out of there. So let's talk about why Brian Kelly's the greatest man on earth.
Okay.
And listen, I'm sure he's not. He appears to be a very angry person. Doesn't appear to be very friendly.
It's like an inner rage kind of thing.
Yeah. But he's smart because he had 2 things that he said that struck me. One was, first of all, the ridiculous about the Rose Bowl. That was just stupid. And he came out and said, this is dumb. Why are we playing one semifinal game where fans can attend and one where they can't? What's the point? Because of a parade, blah, blah, blah. The state of California has shut down. It will be shut down for the next 5 years. Right, Gorney?
Yes.
So screw the state of California, screw the Rose Bowl, move it. And they did move it. And I think his comments helped. So yay for him. Points there.
Yes.
Bigger points yesterday when he was on the ESPN telecast for playoff, where he and kudos to ESPN for not not making us wait 4 hours.
Yes, that was nice that we didn't have to sit through the review of every team's season.
I thought that's what was going to happen. And I was like, this can't be. But they got to it fairly quickly. He said if there was one coach in that stupid ballroom where they're wearing sweatpants and stuff, watching football for the first time this year, it seems, that there's no way on earth Ohio State would be in there. He didn't say Ohio State specifically, but he said games would count more as far as, playing games, because it's so hard to keep your team clean, to keep your kids socially distanced, safe, not to have an outbreak. Notre Dame did a tremendous job of it. They had to do it for 11 games.
Yeah.
Ohio State didn't do a tremendous job of it and had to do it for 6. But yet Notre Dame almost got punted for a team that had to do it, for 6 weeks. And I like Ohio State. Ohio State being good means college football is good. Ryan Day, I've known forever. Now, he's big time in me now because he's the Ohio State head coach. If he were at Indiana or someplace else, he'd be like, what's up?
That's how it always works, Mike.
I know. It's really disturbing, though, because, it's 20 years. But anyways, but he contracted COVID himself, and Ohio State's had COVID outbreaks and issues as well. So, Brian Kelly's smart in the way that he said the teams that played more games, whether that be Texas A&M or Oklahoma, whoever you want to pick, should be in there, as opposed to a team that had to manage it for what was it supposed to be, an 8-game season? They played 6.
Yeah.
So he speaks the truth, but people don't like to hear the truth.
No.
Now he's going to get waxed. I mean, Alabama's going to beat him by 35, and then they're going to always point out every time Notre Dame gets anywhere, they get killed. But
Yes.
they get places. Where's Michigan? Do we know?
No, they're nowhere.
Okay, where's USC?
They lost to Oregon.
Right. So where's Florida?
I have no problem with Florida. Florida is a very good football
I'm just saying,
team.
where's Georgia? Where's
Well, Georgia does have a little bit of a problem.
Where's Texas? Where are these blue blood programs? Top 10 wins all time, Tennessee. Top 10 wins all time, Michigan. You never get anywhere.
No.
So for people to complain about Brian Kelly, it's absolutely ridiculous. He gets there, then gets destroyed.
Right.
But at least he gets there. So kudos to Brian Kelly. That was my
Yes. I have no problem with any of that.
All right. So we all know Alabama is going to play Clemson. We don't have to make our predictions now because probably do.
Wait a second. Ryan Day said if they get one effing chance against effing Clemson or effing Alabama, they're gonna beat their effing ass.
Yeah. So here's what the opposite of that would be. Ryan Day could say, if we get Alabama, or if we get Clemson, or if we get
We're
Notre
gonna
Dame,
lose.
they are going to beat our effing ass.
Yeah.
We're going to lose so bad. I mean, what do you want from the guy? The idiot who filmed it.
Yeah.
And I don't know who it was, what player. I heard it wasn't a like starter or anybody who's of
I'm
value.
sure it wasn't. Yeah.
Could be kicked off the team. Now, if he's good, listen, if it was Justin Fields or Garrett Wilson or Trey Sermon or somebody like that, then hey, just let's put the phone away. But if it's some, second string suckwad,
Yeah.
get off the team. Because
But have these people ever been in a locker room in their entire life? I mean, the things that are said in locker rooms are far worse than, hey, we're going to kick Clemson's butt. I mean, geez,
and it's
come on.
dangerous too, because you could say some real stuff.
Yeah.
And you think you're in the privacy of your family and some moron with his stupid phone is filming you. I mean, it's just dangerous. So I don't have a problem with that. I mean, you know what? I mean, Dabo's going to put that on the big screen every day until the game. Yeah. And they're going to be pissed. And they're going to beat Ohio State probably by 3 touchdowns is my guess. Unless Justin Fields suddenly shakes this inability to throw an accurate football.
Well, that's the other thing. I'm not even entirely sure Ohio State's one of the best 4 teams in the country, even let alone set aside the 6-game thing. Justin Fields has not been great against great competition. The running game is okay, not great. Chris Olave and Garrett Wilson are very talented players, but other than that, yeah. And then the secondary has issues. No, I mean, the defense has not been good. No. So, I mean, from any point of view, the offensive line hasn't been as dominant. It run, yeah, but not pass. Right. Borland's been good, but not Borland. Wyatt Davis has struggled. Your guy struggled a little bit. Struggled a little bit. Yeah, not horribly, but not to the level we expected this Ohio State offensive. Mumford, not right. Borland. So let's talk Dabo. Dabo putting them on number 11. Yeah, hold on. I want to correct. I'm sorry. Mumford, not Borland. Yes. What happened with the F in Mumford and the F in Tough? Messed you up. Got me confused. Okay. Because I'm old. All right, Dabo, 11. Good for you. That's fun. Listen, if you're going to put him 5th, like Saban did or wherever he put him, that's still caving in. Dabo said, you're not better than Coastal Carolina. They played 11 games this year. They won them all. You played 6. Get out of here. Yeah. And that's going to be Ryan Day's, bulletin board material. But when you match these 2 teams up, Clemson's going to kill them. I mean, I don't know. It was closer matched last year. Yeah. And it was a good game. Yeah. And it came down to one mistake. Olave cut off a route or Fields threw the ball behind, whatever you want to say, whose fault that was.
But this is, I mean, you think they're going to be able to turn to Trey Sermon against Clemson to run for 330 yards and win?
No.
So that one, and that's a low line. That was like 6.5.
Yeah, I was surprised that wasn't about 10.5. And I was surprised, honestly. I think Alabama Notre Dame opened at 16.5, 17, and now it's up to 20.
Low. I had it 21 was my guess for Alabama over Notre Dame. And initially I thought 24, but I'm like, nah, 21.
Yeah.
And I had Clemson 10, I think, or 11. But that's lower too. So now, I like what Dabo did. That's Dabo being Dabo. Dabo doesn't care. He'll call out Florida State. He'll call out the Heisman committee, which you made a great point, saying the Heisman should want their name attached to Trevor Lawrence, not the opposite. And he's right. Trevor's not going to win the Heisman, I don't believe, but if they want to pick the best player in college football, it would be him. The second choice would be Devontae Smith, who, by the way, on Bovada is your betting favorite for the Heisman. Did you see that?
I honestly think Alabama has 3 players that should be at the Heisman virtual ceremony. 3.
Najee's amazing.
He's amazing.
He's amazing. And you nailed that one. We gave you a crap for 3 years.
Yep.
And then he patiently waited. And kudos to him, man. I mean, come on. These kids, you see the portal.
Yep.
They're all jumping in. Najee, to his credit, just like Derrick Henry, and there's something in the voice of Nick Saban that is soothing and calming to these kids because they don't jump in the portal. I don't know if it's the way he talks, if it's the Diet Coke. I don't know what it is, but, Derrick Henry waited his turn. Heisman, now he's a god. Yeah. Najee Harris waited his turn. Won't win the Heisman, but he's going to be a god too. Anybody who has Travis Etienne ahead of Najee Harris in their draft board is nuts. Etienne is good. I almost just had a seizure. You see that? Etienne is very good.
Very good.
Very good. Runs fast, explosive, not afraid of contact, catches the ball, all that stuff. Najee's just a different level of athlete.
Yes.
Like Najee kind of jumps over people when he doesn't have to.
Yes.
Like that hurdle against Florida, he could have just sort of cut to the right, but he wanted to make that guy look so stupid. And
he's like a more athletic, better pass catching Derrick Henry.
Yeah, just not as big.
He's not as big, but he doesn't need to be because he bounces off people.
He is. He's Marshall Faulk. So he is. Bigger Marshall Faulk. And that's scary. Yeah. So if you're in a PPR league, draft Najee right now because he can catch the ball. He can do everything. So your Heisman vote goes to?
Oh, man.
Thank God you don't get
somebody said yesterday it's the hardest Heisman in like 20 years because there's just no clear favorite. I mean, can you give it to Trask with 3 losses?
Trask isn't even on the betting line.
That's insane. That's insane.
There's 4 people on the betting lines, or 5. 3 from Alabama, 1 from Clemson. So 4.
Look, Trevor Lawrence is the best player in college football. He has been for years. If you're not going to give it to him, I would hope you can give it to Devontae Smith, because if not, you're never giving it to a receiver ever again.
Well, I did something with Woody yesterday on video, and I brought up Justin Blackmon's stats from way back when, for those of you who are old, at Oklahoma State. And again, they were a top 25 program. And Michael Crabtree's stats at Texas Tech.
Yes.
And they were a top 10 program, I believe. That was the year they beat Texas.
Yeah, they beat Texas, yeah.
And both of them finished 5th in the Heisman. And their stats were unbelievable. Blackmon had 1,900 yards receiving. He had like 140 catches or something. And
that's when Oklahoma State threw the ball.
And 22 touchdowns. And he just, he wasn't going to win. So Devontae Smith is now on Alabama. That's different than Oklahoma State, and it's different than Texas Tech, of course. But, I would like to see Devontae Smith win it just so that we can make this not a quarterback award every year and maybe get a momentum for some wide receivers moving forward. I think Mac Jones is going to win it. That's my guess.
He doesn't scream Heisman to me. I'm
He
sorry.
doesn't, but he also doesn't make any mistakes. And Trask has better numbers, but Trask, had the 2 picks in the LSU game. Mac has not had his Heisman moment.
No.
Devontae Smith hasn't had his Heisman moment. You remember that there's got to be a Heisman moment, and there hasn't been one.
Najee had a Heisman moment. What did he have? 5 touchdowns on Saturday?
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, but he's not going to win it either.
No.
Like, again, the whole thing, he's got like 1,200 yards rushing. I think he's got like 500, 600 yards receiving or something. He's awesome. He's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's going to come down to, personally, I think it's going to come down to Mac, Devontae, and Najee splitting votes.
And yeah, that's true too.
Or people are just going to say, you know what? It's 2020. Trevor is my vote. Because let's just take logic into here. I know he missed 2 games of COVID. And I just said games matter because Ohio State, could have lost to Maryland or Illinois or whoever. Games matter. Trevor could have thrown 5 picks in each of those games. Anything could happen. But let's just assume he wouldn't. And let's give it to him. Because here's the other thing. They got to think, who's the sponsor? Is it Nissan?
Yes, the Nissan Heisman House. Yeah.
You think they want Mac Jones in there?
No.
You think they want Kyle Trask in there?
No. They want
Trevor Lawrence.
They
want Trevor Lawrence in there.
The number 1 pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Right. Because the Jets are stupid. That's who they want in the Heisman House. So
I hope Trevor wins it. He's the best player. Is this a competition of stats or who's the best player? Because Trevor Lawrence is the best player.
It's always been stats.
Well, then Trask should win.
But 2020 shouldn't be about stats because it's so screwy.
Yeah.
And plus, Nissan should put their foot down somehow and get to college football and say, I know these guys from Boise and wherever,
Texas.
Des Moines are voting on this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, we got some guys with Heisman votes. Oof. But let's just take their votes, thank them for them, throw them all in the trash, and give Trevor so that he can be in a car with Tebow and get some cool commercials out of it. Because I don't want Mac Jones in a car with Tebow. I like Mac. Mac's actually funnier than Trevor, and a
very witty, very sharp. Yes.
Yeah, but that doesn't come out. He's kind of he's very reserved on the field, and I don't know. He would be funny, though. I'll tell you what, if Mac Jones ever does win the Heisman and gets in those commercials, he's going to be a whole lot funnier than Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Kyler Murray is my Heisman quarterback, and he really fought for me yesterday in the playoffs, but everyone else screwed me over. But not big on personality there, Kyler.
No. And
never has been, really.
I'll tell you who is, though, Baker Mayfield. That's a funny dude. Have you seen his press conferences?
Baker Mayfield's funny, like the friend you have that you want to be around for 10 minutes and then you've had enough is funny.
Well, that's because for 10 minutes, Baker hasn't had 6 shots of vodka. Once he starts hitting the booze, then you want to be away from him for sure. But those progressive commercials are funny. His press conferences are funny. I find them humorous. I giggle.
Okay.
So let's move to recruiting. And then we could just we could wrap it up after that. We could talk a little TV, but let's go to signing day. Howard, your takeaways, go. You know who that was?
Bobo.
I don't listen to Howard anymore either.
You know what? Let's talk about that real quick first.
All right.
He's awful. He is so bad now.
I know.
It is all just political correctness. I think all those reports about him sucking up to the Hollywood elite are true, about trying to just get interviews. He's not even he's talking about he hasn't left the house since March. Ralph calls in and calls everyone an idiot who just tries to live their life a little bit. It's awful. The show is just awful. I hate it.
I know.
And to pay Sirius $300 a freaking year to be lectured to by Howard Stern, I think I'm going to cancel.
I canceled. I had to do it finally. I first canceled and then they gave me a deal and then I had to cancel. And they tried to give me another deal.
It's just not even, he doesn't even do funny stuff anymore. All he does is complain about COVID, complain about people that go outside because of COVID. He's so afraid to leave his house since March. Everyone's an idiot. He can't wait for everybody to get the vaccine. It's like, it's awful. It's like, watching MSNBC at night.
He's still funny, but because he's miserable, and that's funny.
I get, but when you sign for whatever 270 million, 500 million, it's like $1.5 million an episode, and that's what he's complaining about.
Well, he became too Hollywood, and that's Marcy
yeah.
Turk. That's Marcy Turk ruined his life.
Yeah,
ruined him. He did that America's Got Talent, which was her idea as well, and then I think that might have been pre Marcy Turk, but I think she somehow once he got that Getting Things Done book, it was over. And then the West, I mean the left liberal leanings are just so out of this world.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you're down the middle. I don't care if you're leaning one way or the other, but it's just so far out there that I just can't take it. And I want funny. I want funny, and he was funny for 30 years. He was amazing.
Yeah. I want to break from the horribleness of each day.
Yeah.
And he just adds on to it. He's just like everybody else who just wants to add on and talk about the same thing over.
I don't mind his horribleness. Like his misery, like a guy with $1 billion who has, a $20 million apartment in Manhattan that hasn't been lived in 9 months, and his out of touch complaints and stuff. But the agenda is too much, and I don't want to hear an hour and a half with Nick Cannon every month.
Yeah, and it's not only Nick Cannon, it's Miley Cyrus, and now he's a Ellen DeGeneres fan. And
I don't want to hear her.
No.
I don't want any of those people. Amy Schumer, I don't want to hear you ever.
No, I don't want to hear Amy Schumer. He had Elton John on the other day. It's like, oh my God.
It's the same people over and over, and it's the same questions too.
Yes.
The musical guests are the same questions over and over.
I think he jumped the shark when he had Adam Sandler on, and for years he goes, Adam Sandler's not funny. I don't get Adam Sandler movies. It's just stupid and terrible. It's not comedy. And then Adam Sandler comes on and he goes, I was just a jerk. I think you're hilarious. And it's like, come on.
Yeah, but he jumped it. He jumped it before then because he went on the Ellen show and danced.
Yes.
And he bragged on her for adopting dogs every month and returning them in a crying fit. So he's jumped the shark a long time ago. And then there's some guys that aren't on the show anymore. And then there's the talk about him being so cheap and the Scott Salem thing. You saw all those.
Yeah.
And then Chris Sabian came out and tweeted that it was true. And he asked for a couple months off to be with his dying father. And he was fired after 22 years and all this other stuff. And on and on. But it's disappointing. I don't even know how did Howard Stern come up? Oh, I don't remember. My Bobo, my amazing Bobo imitation. Adam
from Florida.
Adam, recruiting day, signing day is over. Your thoughts?
My thoughts are, 2020 could have been a really crazy recruiting year, and it's turned out to be one of the more predictable ones. Alabama's at the top, probably finishes there. Ohio State's at the top, probably finishes there. Georgia, all the same teams get all the same players. It's almost like the best players wanted stability more than being crazy. Mason Smith was rumored to go to Georgia. That didn't happen. Mims, there was rumors late that he was thinking about Tennessee again. That didn't happen.
That's because Tennessee was apparently throwing improper benefits at him left and right.
Allegedly. I think Ohio State's class is phenomenal. I don't know. I mean, it was just kind of one of those days where we went through and there were some flips and some excitement and things. And it honestly feels like it was 2 months ago that it happened. But
there weren't that many shockers,
No.
And that's fine. We still got some kids out there, Corey Foreman and Tristan Lee and Terrence Lewis and some other guys that are announcing January 2nd. And, we got the leaked USC footage of Corey Foreman with the people behind him in USC stuff, and those are actually Ware Hudson's family.
Yeah, that's Ware Hudson's family. So that's not a big.
But everybody saw, a graphic was put up on Max Preps or something with Corey Foreman signed USC, and it just some moron just put it in there by accident. So
Yeah.
I still think he's going to USC, but we got no true inside evidence.
Yeah, nothing true.
Unless you really want to make up that Ware Hudson's family is tipping us off, but he's going.
I thought we were going to be able to tell on Wednesday because either USC or Clemson would start offering another defensive end. That hasn't happened as much as far as I've seen. So
No.
I don't know if Corey's actually told the schools yet.
Well, Clemson's not gonna. I mean, they got a small class. It's 18.
Yeah.
They're very, very, very picky about, they don't go plan C, rarely go plan B if they have to. But USC, yeah, that would be definitely something you'd think they would throw another offer out there at. But, who's left?
That's the other thing.
So I think they're both going to stand pat. Arizona State's going to stand pat, and we'll see who gets them. Oregon had a great class, and they still are in the mix for some big time guys. So I think that's of note, because they kept Cristobal. They got a great class. They needed to keep Cristobal. They needed to, because they're saving the Pac-12. I mean, they've got to do it themselves. I mean, USC recruiting better, 10th class, but still the disappointing loss to Oregon. And I don't know. But the other one that I thought Miami did a great job, didn't get a lot of talk because they didn't have a lot of movement late, but Miami with the 11th class. And then I thought Michigan did really well to keep most of their kids in the class. I mean, they lost Jennings to Maryland and they lost Somerville. Somerville, you got overrated, bro.
Well, I mean, he was high. He was a 5'9" at one point, and we moved him down outside the 250. So I think I wanted to keep him there.
Regressed. Like he was 6'1" in 8th grade.
Yeah, he was a kid. Yeah, he was a kid who was big as like an 8th grader and a freshman. And you're like, wow, this kid at his size can move. And then he just stayed that size.
Yeah. So I don't think that's a huge loss for Michigan. I think Jennings is, because I think he could be really good.
Yeah.
But they got Donovan Edwards. They kept Xavier Worthy.
That was huge.
They got Jaden Hood to sign, which was big too, because he wasn't going to. And Jaden McBurrows almost flipped to Miami, but decided to stay. So those were big. So Michigan, still the difference between Ohio State's class and Michigan's class is light years. And people say, well, how could that be? I mean, 2 to 12, how could that be such a difference? Well, Ohio State has taken one more kid and they got a 3.95 star average. Okay. They got 3 5-stars in this class and 15 4-stars.
Yep.
Michigan, 3.55 average with one less kid, 0 5s, 12 4s, 7 3s. Not the 3s are bad, but you'd rather have the 4s and 5s. And the difference, I think, between the Big Ten recruiting is as big or maybe even bigger for Ohio State versus the rest of the Big Ten as it is for Clemson and the rest of the ACC, because Miami's class was pretty good. So Ohio State's going to win forever. Michigan will never win again, I guess. I like what LSU did too, because remember, they were dead before that Florida win. They were dead.
Yeah.
They were NCAA investigations. There were Eric Gilbert's in the portal. They stink. The recruiting class is going to fall apart. Mason Smith's going to go to Georgia. Boom, they beat Florida. Yeah, they lost JoJo Earl. That hurt. That's a rough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But they kept Sage Ryan, and Alabama made a real strong push for him, even after he committed.
Yep.
They got Armani Goodwin.
Yep.
They kept Mason Smith.
I think Demarius McGee could be a really good player.
Yeah.
They got Derek Davis. They kept Derek Davis.
They flipped Malik Neighbors.
Yep. They could end up with Brian Thomas in this class later.
Yeah. So
and the rumor today, Mike, is Bo Pelini gone.
Gotta be. He makes so much money. You see, he's like the 4th highest or 3rd highest paid defensive coordinator in college football.
Don't get me started on salaries.
I mean, the defense played better against like A&M,
Yeah.
better against Florida, but still they were an embarrassment. And he's just not the solution. So I don't know who they'd hire. I mean, Aranda should just give up at Baylor and go back and just
Yeah.
keep his buyout because Baylor is horrible. I mean, really bad. And that shows you how great Matt Rule is as a coach. Just unbelievable coach. But I don't know. I think Texas A&M is moving up. You know, they were 6th. They finished strongly.
How about getting Bryce Foster?
Yeah, you know what? I got to tell you, Bryce Foster's a smart kid, right? When he was a sophomore, he told me how much he couldn't stand the future casts and that other thing that's done at the recruiting place down south.
Uh-huh.
He couldn't stand recruiting guys who lived on their percentage. And he mentioned one specifically, and I won't mention his name.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you know, I'm going to make sure somebody looks stupid. And it was me.
Well, that's not too hard, though.
I'm his friend. Me and Bryce are boys. We live together. We eat together.
The eating part, I believe.
And so he's like, you know, sooner. Yeah. He's like the day before. He's like, okay, I'm going A&M. Nice. Just keep it quiet. I'll let you change your prediction so you don't look stupid. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna look stupid. It's late. Yeah. You know. The other guy who killed me was Drew Kendall, Boston College. That kid changed his mind 15 times.
Where'd you have him going, Duke?
I'm going to Boston College, bro.
Where did you have him going?
Oh, I had him going to Stanford.
Oh, okay.
So his dad, Pete Kendall, All-American first rounder with the Saints, great player. They visit Stanford. He loves it. He's torn. He doesn't know what to do. Stanford this, Stanford that. So then I get the note, you know, early from a source on Friday when he was announcing Stanford. This is at 3:30 Eastern. So I'm like, this kid screwed me. You know, he told me he was going to tell me beforehand. You know, we got a tight relationship. We live together. We eat together.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I get a text 4:45. Miss Farrell is going to be Boston College. I haven't signed yet, but if you want to put your future cast in, go ahead. And I'm like, wow. So he didn't do me wrong, but both of those guys kind of left me hanging. But yeah, that's a great one for Texas A&M. I really turned that into all about myself.
That was definitely about you for like the last 5 minutes straight.
I think I do that in real life.
Yeah, I think you do too.
I think my wife tells me that, and other people I know tell me that. Do I do that with you?
Yes.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You're not really sorry, though. I think you're just saying that so we stop talking about it.
No, I'm not sorry at all.
No, I know.
Does this blue make my eyes pop?
See, it's about you again. I don't like this.
Oh, jeez. Anything else on 2021 signing?
I don't think so. Let's talk about where's your Christmas tree in your office there?
Oh, yeah, it's right over there.
Okay.
There's no Christmas tree in this house. There's not one Christmas deck. Well, my wife puts up these glass sculptures of like white frozen trees. They're kind of neat. They're from like Simon Pierce, which is a famous place up in Vermont. That's the only decorations. There's no Christmas tree. There's no nothing. Christmas will be, Thanksgiving was Chateaubriand.
Yeah, I remember you said that. Yeah. What is Christmas?
Steaks. Christmas is going to be steak tips from Omaha Steaks.
Nice.
And massive amounts of side dishes. Most of them starch.
Yeah.
No vegetables for me. She got some. And then dessert. Now
what are your favorite Christmas desserts, Mike?
Well, I wanted to get the wheel of cheesecake, which is a cheesecake sampler. It's the size of a wagon wheel, like the Old West. And it's got like 6 or 7 different flavors of cheesecake. And my wife has like half a piece of one, and then she throws the rest at me, and I put it on my belly and lay in bed.
Yeah.
And I just eat my way through the wheel. And then I feel sick, and I say we can never do this again. And then when she said, let's get Omaha Steaks for Christmas, I said, I want the wheel again, but she refused to get me the wheel. So We got like molten lava cake.
Oh, that's good. Nice.
Yeah. And then there's some other desserts there too. So, but I've been on a bit of a candy binge,
Kick. Yeah.
and I can feel it. I'm feeling like an extra maybe 5-10 pounds.
Okay.
It's
Well,
my
it's the
winter.
holiday. You pack them on. Then you get your gym membership January 1st, and you head to the gyms once they start opening again.
I'm not going to any freaking gyms. I used to go to the gym. I'm not going to the gym.
No.
You have to wear masks at the gym.
Just walk outside.
I'll die. What?
Walk outside.
I'm going to once it gets less cold in like April.
Yeah.
So I'll probably add another 30 pounds and then have to work it off in April. But the gyms, no. First of all, I can't stand the old man nakedness.
Yeah, that has always been a problem for me too.
I'll never get to that point where I'm an old man and just comfortable, just naked.
Yeah, where you just don't care. Yeah.
Yeah. Where your stuff's dragging on the ground and you just don't care. And there's hair growing out of places you didn't think hair could grow out of.
You've really watched this closely, huh?
It's really a problem for me. I get in and out of the locker room so fast, but yet there's old man nakedness everywhere. It doesn't
Always.
I want to almost leave my stuff in the hallway.
Like who is showering in there at 2:10 a.m. and it's like, what is going on here?
And then the mask thing, I'm not going back to the gym, so I'm gonna have to do it myself. I'm thinking about doing a HIIT course. You hear about that?
No.
I would probably die, but it's a video thing. They keep you moving. So
just walk every day, walk a good distance every day, watch what you eat, and you'll lose weight. You don't need all this P90X garbage.
I know. I tried to walk every day until your wife ruined my life and broke my foot.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I hope her foot's screwed up. Is her foot screwed up?
Yeah, she had to go to some like specialty running store for shoes, and now she's on the holiday kick too, and the walking has ceased.
Good. Because she's going to end up like me at the podiatrist. She's going to end up getting cortisone shots in places that really hurt.
Yeah.
I was trying to keep up with her and her stupid friends who were walking like 25,000 steps a day, and I hurt myself.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So I don't do that. I got my Fitbit. If I get 5,000 in a day now, I'm pretty happy.
When we went to Disney World 2 weeks ago, I walked 20,000 steps for 5 days straight. And on the airplane ride home, I said, you know what? I'm going to keep this up. I'm going to get to 15 a day. I'm going to focus on 15,000. That way my week of hell is over. Now I can really keep this up. And then like pre-signing day hit and I just got like 6.
And you got no excuse. I mean, it's nice out.
Oh, it's like 70 degrees out today. We have our windows open.
You suck.
But this doesn't feel like Christmas. This is un-American. Christmas is cold, snow, slush on the ground.
You know what? We got 18 inches of snow the other day.
Yeah.
It's 10 degrees and it's miserable.
That's Christmas though. That's fun.
Yay, Christmas. TV, let's wrap it up with TV. So I'm watching a show called Kingdom.
Did you watch Undoing?
No, I got to watch that, I guess.
Did you watch Queen's Gambit?
No.
Those are the two.
Chess?
It's about chess, but it's about much more than chess. It's great. It's a great show.
And Kingdom, I'm not way into. It's about fighting, UFC fighting and stuff.
Nah, that's not my thing.
I know. But I don't know. I got to find a new show. And then, the superhero show is coming back in January.
Disney 90 Days is good.
This Disney 90 Days. Oh, yeah. That's right. It's back, and we've been watching it, right?
Back. It's great.
So Tariq's story is kind of boring.
Yeah, I don't care that Hazel is bisexual and they're looking for a girlfriend. I don't care.
I don't care either. I do like Mike kicking out Uncle Bo was just mean.
Yeah, Bojangles has to leave. Why? I don't know.
He cried.
He did cry, and then he drank copious amounts of whiskey last night. Did you see that?
Yeah, in front of the crazy put the bunny in the pot girl, because she looks like Glenn Close from that movie.
Yeah.
So Mike's a big doofus, and he's moving heaven and earth for her. I don't like that. Zahad, or whatever his name is, and the T-shirts and the bed covers.
Zied.
Zied with all the pictures of them and stuff. That's annoying to me.
Very annoying. And he now has a big tattoo. He wasn't really on this last one, but
Yeah.
the one I like is the kid who listens to his mother about everything.
Yeah, he looks like he's 12.
That's not gonna last. He looks like Clay Aiken.
Yeah, and he's got the somewhat attractive girl from Europe.
Yeah, and I like the New Orleans guy who drinks all the time, and then the other one, she just complains.
I hate him. I can't stand him. What's his name?
Jovi.
Jovi. So he looks like Jonathan Cryer in that movie.
Better Off Dead?
No, the Pretty in Pink?
Pretty in Pink. He does kind of look like him.
Yeah. And the girl I like, she's very pretty.
Yes.
And she's very direct.
I do like that.
I think she has a good sense of humor. She reminds me a little bit of Anfisa.
Oh, that's tough.
Well, Anfisa, played up the whole money grubbing thing early.
Yeah.
This girl's not like that, but she was also lied to by the pothead guy who said he had millions.
Yeah, he was.
Anfisa turned out to be like really cool, and I follow her on Instagram, and now she's a bodybuilder and stuff. So I like the blonde girl. I'm not into the French girl.
Yeah, I don't really get that storyline either. It's kind of boring. It seems like she's flying to Mexico City to come into the United States or something.
Yeah, to sneak in, and he's wearing like goofy hats, and he's
whatever,
taking helium through balloons, and he's just a doofus.
Yeah.
So it's not great.
It's not great, but it's something.
I think that's everybody though, right?
I do. Yeah, I think those are the stories.
Yeah, Jovi, and then the Dinwiddie kid. I've been to Dinwiddie, Virginia.
That's the country, right?
Whew, yeah. Whew. I remember there's been many times in my career where I've looked around and said, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
And one of those times was in Dinwiddie, Virginia.
I bet. Yeah.
My goodness. So let's wrap it up. I think we did an amazing job here. Really bringing in the audience. But I don't need to show you a helmet because I got to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
So that's it. We'll do this next week, maybe.
Yeah, that shouldn't be New Year's yet. In between Christmas and New Year's at some point.
All right, let's do it.
All right.
All right. See you.